The votes are in, it's time to see what this town is meant to be. Together strong we'll cast our say, build tomorrow from today. Side by side we make the call, every voice it counts them all. A team of hearts with plans to share, for every soul we're standing there. It's in the ballot, it's in our hands. Together we rise and take a stand. For every dream, for every need, community spirit is our creed. The Lord is here to pave the way, working hard both night and day, delivering hope, delivering dreams. We are the ones who fuel the streams. Every corner, every street, we bring the change that makes us meet. Hand in hand we hold the flame, together we'll make a lasting name. It's in the ballot, it's in our hands. Together we rise and take a stand. For every dream, for every need, community spirit is our creed. The thought is here to pave the way, working hard both night and day, delivering hope, delivering dreams. We are the ones to fuel the streams. Every corner, every street, we bring the change that makes us meet.
Okay, welcome to tonight's It's in the Ballot show. We've got Ange here who's going to be answering all the tough community board questions. How's your evening been going?
Oh, poor Marie, Sam. Yeah, I've had a pretty busy one, actually. I've been just helping a young couple with their 2-year-old find some accommodation for the weekend. So, unfortunately, it's not such great circumstances, but we've got a fix. So, yep, I made it tonight. So, yeah, let's see what this is all about and have a bit of fun.
Okay, so would you like to kick off with an opening statement of why you should begin the vote for the, now I've got to remember how to say the name of it, the Awamutu and Kihikihi subdivision of the Awamutu, is it Kihikihi Community Board?
Yeah, you did pretty well. So Awamutu and Kihikihi, that's right on the money. So yes, I'm standing to be re-elected. The reason that I'm standing again is because I'm really super passionate about our community, and I really want to see our community board be seen as a valued partner for our residents of Te Awamutu, Kihikihi and Kakapuku, who are our rural ward. We've found that we've fallen on deaf ears for a few years and struggled. So I want to have another go at improving that position so that our community voices are heard and the community's wants and needs are put forward, and we can actually help shape our future. So that's my primary passion and reason for wanting to re-stand.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's get to some box questions.
Alrighty. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Fire away.
So we'll get the first one that's sitting on the top is F for Foxtrot.
Yep.
Now let's get to what factors currently support community gardens in your area, and what actions could be taken to improve or create new ones?
Okay, so we're actually very lucky in our area because we have this wonderful community vegetable garden out at Kihikihi, which is run by the Māori Women's Welfare League. And then there's also a group that goes under the name of the Te Awamutu Fruit Forest, and they have created a whole lot of fruit trees in the Pikaro Reserve, and part of their project is also working with the council to create further fruit trees and places along various walks and cycleways where people will be able to gather fruit. They've also got a team that meets when the fruit's starting to be ready. All of their trees are quite young still at the moment, but they're working towards, you know, being able to have a harvest and maybe making jams and bottling with all of the extra fruit. So our community board's pretty lucky that there's not too much mahi for us to do other than support that and say lots of good things about them.
Okay, we'll get the next card that's on the list. It's C for Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
How will you stand for the community at council table on issues where council is not in support of them?
Okay, so that's a good question. Had plenty of practice at this one over the last few years. So the same as always. I'll prepare well, make sure I have all of the information, provide a really good rationale, and put our best foot forward. Like you basically just fight for as long and as hard as we can. Maybe fight's not quite the right word, but, you know, like, just try really, really hard to put across the community's voice with good rationale so that hopefully we get that support. But unfortunately, we do have processes in place that, we're able to provide that opportunity, but then it goes back to the councillors to make the final decision. But we certainly will be doing everything in our power to put forward the community's wishes and wants.
Okay, so the next one that's on the list is H for hotel. Now there we are. How accessible is the current community board, and what steps would you take to improve accessibility if needed?
So I actually think that our community board does pretty well at this. So we all pretty much provide phone numbers and emails. A number of the community board members actually quite frequently respond through social media. Anybody is welcome to come to our public forum. We have a public forum at each of our meetings that people can come along and attend. So I think we do pretty well in this space. An idea that we have had is to maybe have a little public forum type of opportunity. So that's something I'd like to put forward into the new triennium if I was to get back on, that maybe we could have a once a month meeting or opportunity for people to come to us maybe at the library that we met there, and just to maybe capture some of the people that would be sort of a more informal, just, oh yeah, I'd like to ask you type opportunity. Other than that, we attend the Urban Miners e-waste collection, so we're always approachable there. And there's lots of other events that we try to get along to. Now, I hope that's you squeaking, not me, that I can hear.
No, it's the blind. So the house I'm at the moment is my friend Tony's. He is in a wheelchair. So a lot of it would be, so they press the button that puts all the blinds down, and in the garage where I am at the moment, is ironically the blind is going down as we speak, but I think it's a button that does all of them in the house at the same time, or does a certain section of them at the same time.
Okay.
It's interesting because the window is still actually open.
Funny.
Yeah, but it is like if you come to Tony's house, it's absolutely amazing, and it's basically it's very, very well thought out. If you ever like a lifetime person in a wheelchair, it is one of the best designed houses for it.
Oh, that's great for him, isn't it? Makes
it's his retirement home. It's just he's got, it's just hopefully there's another 30 years still left in him.
Hope so too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to was it next one? We've got A for Alpha. Now I've got to make sure you get the right A on there, just because I've got two sitting in my set of slides. What will be your preference for new street names to be based on in the Awamutu and Kihikihi community board area? Some examples have been former mayor names, such as Georgina Byer in Carterton has Georgina Byer Way, or you have names gifted from local iwi.
Okay, so when on the cheat sheet, I did, I have seen this question and I pondered for this for quite a while, and my preference actually is to have a mixture. We've got a few streets in Te Awamutu that are named after our mayors, and we also have some names that have been gifted by iwi. So Te Awamutu is steeped in a lot of Māori history. It was it's been had been a Māori stronghold for many years pre-European. So I personally think it's relevant that we acknowledge those names, and so I look forward to seeing the Māori names come through. So for me, yep, I definitely think a mixture is what makes us. There's both cultures here, and so it keeps things interesting and relevant. So for me, sorry, I can't choose one or the other.
That's all right. They're just examples.
Yeah.
You get any of them. It's quite interesting because some people anti-former mayor names, and I remember bringing up this example in Kihikihi about it, and I said, what would you say about Georgina Byatt? And the other two people sitting next to them were like, of course we were going to have Georgina Byatt. Wait, get on them for doing it. And everyone's, who's this Georgina Byatt? And then literally him to explain to them, it's like, Georgina's the first transgender mayor in the world who later became the first transgender MP. And they're like, oh my God, I missed who this person was. It was real interesting just watching that. You just watch the whole look on the face go of course it's completely appropriate.
Yeah. And I think that it just needs to be considered and relevant to the town. For example, we've got streets, a subdivision called Frontier Estate. So the streets in that area have got sort of more frontier style names. So and it works for that space. So I think as long as they're considered and appropriate and fit in with the town, then I'm certainly not going to be a stickler and say it can only be this or only be that.
Yeah. Okay, we got G for golf, which is the next one. What would your role entail in overseeing the planning, regulation, implementation of traffic, parking, signages, and related policies, including the community consultation process?
Okay, so being a part of the consultation process from as early in the piece as possible, with enough time for us to go out into the community and get a bit of feedback from them as to what they want or what they see as a need or possible fishhooks. We really feel that our suggestions relating to those areas need to be considered and implemented if they have merit and there's not any other technical reasons for them to be discounted. So we have been involved with some of these things in the past. We just recently took part and asked if we could have longer parking hours, which the staff helped us implement. So the main street of Te Awamutu now has 2-hour parking spaces rather than only the 1 hour. And that's had really good, that came from the residents and has had really good feedback. They can go and have a meal, do a little bit of shopping, and they don't have to rush. So, but that's the important part, is being involved early, giving us the opportunity to ask.
Okay. The next one that we've got on there is E for eco. Okay. Now that's that one there. What community projects would you be happy to support for community board council grants? Okay,
so we look after the discretionary grant for our council. So anything that's community based that can provide good for our community. So we give to all sorts of organisations. They can be sometimes the bigger external organisations, as long as they have some direct community involvement. Since our discretionary fund grant money was halved, we have now cut back and said we will provide to community organisations within our area, seeing as we didn't have the same amount of funding. So sports groups, service groups, we're happy to, as long as they put forward some good rationale about what they want, provide us with some costings. We try our best to support all different sorts of groups, organisations, etc.
Okay. The next one I've got there is I for India or Igloo, whichever one you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
How can the community board contribute to civil defence and emergency management in our area?
So, like what we did with COVID, many of us became buddies for people that were unable to go out. Another idea we actually just had at our last community board meeting was that we could possibly support doing a survey of those people that were impacted through not being able to access facilities in Waipā during the pandemic, so that that doesn't happen again, so that we can put forward some ideas and proposals for preventing any of that, those breakdown spaces. Civil defence always keep us in the loop with what's going on. So it's a bit of a tricky one in that, depending on what the need is as to what we could be involved with. So that's probably where I'm sitting at the moment. If there were some planning type things that we could do, then we could get, we could definitely be involved at that level.
Okay, we've got a B for Bravo here.
Mm-hmm.
How will you stand up for your community interests if it differs from your own position?
100%. That's one of the most important parts of being on the community board. It's not about our personal opinion. It's about supporting the opinions in our community. We certainly have an opportunity to say what we think. However, if the community voice is loud and clear, then that's my job to advocate and support that voice. So the only time that I would not do that would be if it was detrimental to people's safety or to the wider community. So absolutely.
That makes complete sense. Okay, we got D for Delta.
D for Delta.
How willing are you to work with local hapu and iwi at a community board level?
I'd love to see more involvement from hapu and iwi at community board level. I support Te Tiriti o Waitangi. I also support Māori wards. We've been very fortunate with our Māori ward candidate Dale Marie Morgan, who in her time on the council last year, I've got a lot of respect for tikanga and te ao Māori worldviews, and there's a lot of really great things that they could, that type of perspective can bring to the table around working together. So absolutely, I do support hapu and iwi, and being able to have those really good relationships with them.
Okay, and our hard-hitting question. What is your position on Waipā District Council's Waipā Māori Ward and the Waikato Regional Council's Ngātai Ki Utu Māori constituency, and why do you hold that position? Okay,
so yes, I do support retaining those. I believe that in our area, especially from the Waipā Māori Ward, that it's really important that we do have a Māori ward councillor at this point in time. Unfortunately, the way or the people that live in Waipā, there is not enough support in a general election in the general wards to have that Māori voice being represented on our council. As we've seen historically, we didn't have any Māori voice there. And it's basically because as a rule, we don't have big voting numbers and people tend to vote for who they know. So when you've got quite a large disparity in your actual number of people that are able to vote, so here in Waipā, we have 15% Māori across the district. So numbers-wise, Māori are at a disadvantage. Their voices haven't been heard, so we need to uplift them and support them until it becomes more normalised, I suppose is a good way of putting it, that that maybe one day it goes back to just being vote for, this or that, as opposed to having a specific ward. You look at places like Rotorua, they have very strong Māori representation on their council. So maybe the need for a Māori ward there obviously isn't going to be as strong. And I think that probably comes out into the Waikato area too. So with the regional council, they run into the same disparity with numbers, and having that. And in my experience of seeing the Māori ward councillor work on council, I've seen it to work really, really well. And I would be very sad to lose that voice and just that different perspective and the ability to work cohesively and collaboratively with other councillors to help support their knowledge and learning as well around things tikanga and te ao Māori. Yeah,
no, it's certainly right there. And I have heard there was one election in the Portuguese which they're about 70% Māori, and in one particular election they ended up with full non-Māori, all Pākehā council.
Yeah.
So that yeah, I don't know how far back that was, but that happened at one particular election that really pushed, okay, now we need to look at it. So, you don't want to have a population which has is predominantly Māori to have the non-Māori people around the council table.
Yeah.
So that's something I've heard since going around to all the areas of It's in the Ballot on that.
Yeah, and it's not, I know some people feel that it's discriminating. It's absolutely not. It's actually, there's loads of benefits in it. We don't need to see it as them and us. Just see it as an opportunity for the people who we are supposed to be in partnership with to have a voice. And as I say, I've seen it work very, very well in these last 3 years.
Okay, would you like to do a closing statement of why you should be getting that tick at the first past the post in Waipā?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, get that tick. I can't say number one. I've got to get prepared for Hamilton. I've got to start talking about STV again soon when Monday comes around.
Yeah, true that. So the reason that you could give me your vote, which would be really appreciated, is I've served on the community board for the last 3 years. 2 of those as chairperson. So I have got plenty of experience. I've learned a lot along that journey. And so I have a good knowledge of the processes and the ins and outs of the way council work. I'm honest. I'm really hardworking. I care deeply about our community. So I always put you guys first. I've been really disappointed over the last 3 years that as hard as we've worked, we haven't had community boards be seen as a valued partner. And this next 3 years, I will strive to continue my work to achieve that goal. So that's pretty much, I think it. I'm going to be accountable. I'll be transparent. I'm always approachable by phone, by email. Bump into me in the street. I'm always happy to answer your questions. I will get back to you. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but I will get back to you and find and get the information that you need. So I work as a team. It's about us as a community board. It's not about me as Ange Holt. Unfortunately, though, to vote, you need to just vote for me, Ange Holt. Thank you.
No problem. And how many ticks would do your voters get for the community board?
4. So we have 4 people to be nominated to the community board. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to work with another team in the next triennium with a bit of luck.
Yeah. Oh, great bringing you on the show. That's it for this episode of It's in the Ballot. If you want to join us back at 7 p.m, fingers crossed, we've got what was meant to happen on Wednesday night, the Western Bay of Plenty constituency for the Bay of Plenty Regional Council. but Ange and I might have a great time talking for post-show chat discussions. And
sounds good.
have a good evening.
Yeah, so good luck to everybody with your election campaigns and with elections. And thank you very much to everybody that stood, because without you, we don't have local government, we don't have community boards. So a big kia ora and thank you. So, po Marie, and thanks for the opportunity, Sam. This has been quite fun.